to Minister Green and his team. We know the damage that would have been done in every sector of the economy. But we know when the damage is done in the agriculture sector of the economy, it hurts a little more because it is one of the most inclusive parts of our economy. So we are here today to announce formally our partnership on this initiative, Minister Green, and to acknowledge that we've reached this critical milestone. But simultaneously to tell you that we are actively pursuing an additional $300 million of projects that are at varying stages of development. Now, these projects are pursued through other avenues, not solely GCF. We pursue projects through the Green Climate Fund. We pursue projects through the GEF, through the Climate Investment Fund. We pursue projects through the Adaptation Fund. And over the coming months, a number of these will have announcements that we certainly believe will redound to the benefit of Jamaicans everywhere. We've also been very clear that we have engaged the newly formed Loss and Damage Fund post-Hurricane Melissa, and I can report that Jamaica has made its first submission post-Hurricane Melissa in line with its drawing rights under the UNFCCC structure for the Loss and Damage Fund. We expect to hear exactly the volume of funds we'll be able to draw down in June of this year after the first board meeting of that fund. But with that said, today is indeed a moment that we believe we should pause and acknowledge the work of the technical team that would have raised the funds on behalf of Jamaican farmers. And I think it would be useful, Minister Green, for you to outline how these funds will benefit Jamaican farmers.
Thank you, Minister Samoud, and just allow me to recognize Permanent Secretary, Chief Technical Directors, Head of the...
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for this Monday evening, the final Monday in the month of March. March has been exhausted. One day to go in the month of March. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. That's my name as well, Colin Bell. Some people call me Shaka Fame. Some people call me Colin Anthony. And if you hear anybody call me Ian, it's either my close family, like my sister, my brother, my mother, or somebody from where I grew up, or if you hear anybody call me Robot, yeah, our original name them there. Blessings.
Tell them to try pre-wee, big up Portland Spice TV. Tell them to try pre-wee, big up Portland Spice TV. Remember to subscribe. See, Portland Spice TV, Louis Culture say it once, so I say it again. Portland Spice TV. We are going to hold them and pop it off. Bogus badge where we rip off. Subscribe, share. Portland Spice TV is here. Woo!
Louis Culture, thank you, my brother. Thank you so kind. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Louis the Gangali Culture. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Share up this live here. Share it up. This evening is Ralston Iman evening, you know. Yes. Saturday, them ask where Ralston there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'll see you on Wednesday.
We were supposed to have Peter Gay Ferguson this evening, but earlier today she sent us a message that she wanted to take a rain check and set that for Wednesday. Yeah. So Wednesday we're going to be talking to the General Secretary of the PNP-YO, Peter Gay Ferguson. But this evening we have a whole heap of things. We hear say a Russian ship enter Cuban waters today with crude. But we're listening to, before we came in, we were listening to the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Climate Change talking about a $50 million that will be given to farmers in Jamaica. Make we listen a little more, then I'll come back to you.
Recognize Permanent Secretary, Chief Technical Directors, Head of the PIOJ, Head of JSIF, and of course, Anna, our head of the FAO, and other partners who have joined us here today. I think Minister Samuda has created excellent background. Oftentimes when we speak about climate change, we sometimes feel like it's a big distant issue, but it's not distant at all for our farmers and fishers. We're seeing it in longer droughts, we're seeing it in heavier rainfall, we're seeing it in crops that do not yield as much as they used to. And Hurricane Beryl and Hurricane Melissa again showed us the harsh reality that our farmers are the ones that face the brunt of this new climate reality. And as such, the government had decided years ago that in moving towards climate resilient financing, it would have to be targeted towards our agricultural sector to build sustainability and to ensure that we are more resilient. And this is even more important now when we reflect on the fact that Hurricane Beryl would have caused over $7 billion in losses to our agricultural sector. And that is followed by Hurricane Melissa that cost us over $32 billion in losses to our agricultural sector. And you pile that on some of our structural realities. We are a country, the majority of who are smallholder farmers, who are heavily dependent on rainfall, who operate oftentimes in hilly terrain, and as such vulnerable to soil erosion and land degradation. And as such, in building climate resilience, we had to take all of these factors into account. And I want to join with Minister Samuda in thanking the technical teams that have done a lot of work in pulling together a comprehensive program that will seek to address our climate vulnerabilities. So the Adapt Jamaica program is designed to tackle our systematic barriers to resilience in agriculture. We will focus on four main areas. Firstly, climate resilient agriculture and food loss and waste. We do lose about 30 to 40% of the food that we produce now in our agricultural ecosystem. The second area will focus on strengthening climate information services. The third area on policy and institutional strengthening. And the fourth on investment-ready financing solutions. And I will quickly just go into a little bit of these areas. One of the things that we did was to look at the parishes that would have suffered the most from these new climate realities. And as such, we've identified 6 parishes based on our historical data in relation to how much they have lost from these weather events over the last 2 decades. And those are Clarendon, Trelawney, Manchester, St. Anne, St. Catherine, and St. Elizabeth. Again, these areas combine high climate exposure, rural poverty, food insecurity, land degradation, and limited access to irrigation and financing. Importantly, these parishes are responsible for a significant share. In fact, about 70% of our domestic production is produced by these 6 parishes. So at the farm level, this project is designed to be practical, visible, and scalable. So we will look to develop model farms and farm clusters where we will deploy climate resilient solutions to show them work in real time, including things like solar-powered irrigation, reinforced greenhouses that are designed to withstand stronger storms, efficient water management systems such as drip irrigation, especially for our vulnerable farmers. We will have a strong training component and provide access to simple, affordable tools that are focused on rainwater harvesting and water efficient technology. Importantly, we will design a climate information system that will tie directly into our farmers. So our farmers are better equipped to know when we're having these weather changes. It will provide timely, practical guidance on weather and crop conditions. At the same time, a portion of these funds will be routed through the Development Bank of Jamaica to ensure that farmers have greater access, especially smallholder farmers have greater access to capital to be able to invest in their agricultural enterprise. We'll focus on things like crop zoning, targeted inclusion strategies. We're going to be focusing on our women. We're going to be focusing on our youth to ensure that underserved groups have equitable access. We are going to be using our farmer field school to ensure that our farmers are trained in climate smart methodology. And we will roll that out throughout the 6 parishes that we've identified. Additionally, and I want to again commend the technical team because seeing
That was Minister of Agriculture, Floyd Green, speaking there. And if you all were listening, then you'd understand that Jamaica have a food security problem. A food security problem. Because over the last 10 years, there have not been much investment or enough investment in agriculture so as to take care of food security. Not been growing enough food to feed ourselves. So we are suffering from food importation, very high costs. We're importing food at. Last year, 2025, 11 months, $1.9 billion. And we have a video on this channel. And you need to watch that video because a lot of Jamaicans does not know or understand our numbers, our fiscal numbers. And because they don't understand it, they have been told that Jamaica's economy is strong. Our economy is weak. Very weak. Very weak. Yeah? Our economy is weak and is in a bad situation. Yes. In a very bad situation. We can't continue to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. And then we talk about the economy is strong. We can't have trade deficit of $5 billion and say our economy is strong. I say to you, shun the very appearance of evil. There are those who don't want the truth to be spoken. Good evening, Nardi. Anthony, good evening. Evan Green. Taylor. Bless up. Minty Roo. Big up yourself. Yeah. Betty Ann. Daniel. Megawatt Volt. Big up on yourself. Welcome. Share up the channel. All Portland Spice ambassadors. So, some people don't want us to call it as is. We're not putting on nothing on it, you know. We're not putting on anything. And we're not take off anything. We're not pretty up nothing. And we're not dirty it up neither. We are call it as we see it. Who vex? Vex. Because on this channel, we pride ourselves on speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, that is where it's at. I've never lived under a communist government. I don't think I would want to live under a communist government either. But to each his own. And every people must be allowed to determine their own destiny. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about our neighbors in Cuba, which is a communist company. Auntie Elaine, good evening to you. It's a communist country. They, for more than 50 years, have been assisting Jamaica way more than we have been assisting them. Yeah. Even with the embargo that the United States have on Cuba, Cuba have been assisting Jamaica. I remember when I used to go to school, we used to get Cuban milk. Them the milk they couldn't throw it in, you have to use spoon, take them out the way of the milk, then they thick. The Cubans have built schools and colleges in Jamaica. They have sent their doctors and their teachers. We have sent students there to study to become doctors. So I dare say, and I would love to see anybody who would challenge me, that the Cubans have done more for Jamaica than Jamaica has done for the Cubans. Now, there are other countries around the world that are communist countries that are living. And I don't see no embargo upon them. However, I am happy to hear a piece of news that says a Russian oil tanker has entered the waters of Cuba.
Slightly further afield, a Russian tanker carrying oil to Cuba has entered the waters of the communist-run island, according to Russia's Interfax news agency. The Russian tanker is carrying a humanitarian shipment of 100,000 tons of crude oil. The shipment, the first to reach Cuba since January, comes hours after U.S. President Donald Trump said that he had no problem with countries, including Russia, sending supplies to the island. Trump's remark appeared to signal a loosening of the de facto oil blockade his administration had imposed on Cuba since January. Cuba has been experiencing a series of nationwide blackouts as the blockade exacerbated existing shortages. Last week, the World Health Organization had warned that severe fuel shortages meant that Cuban hospitals were struggling to maintain emergency and intensive care services. To end the news.
So, there you have it from the RGR News Network. The Cubans will be getting some oil, well-needed oil. A little more oil in their lamp. Now, as I say, I've never lived under a communist regime. I don't think I'd want to. Yeah? But is it that Donald Trump is easing up, or him no want to get in a Putin way? So the fact that the Russian them decide to go in, him just make a talk and say anybody who want to go in can go in. Well, the people of Cuba will get some relief. And I am happy for that. I am really, really happy for that. I am not going to be like some people who are behaving like Cuba is the worst place. Me or one half-wit saying that if you're in Cuba, you can't have 2 cars. And you can't have this and you can't have that. That may be true. However, the Cubans, if they were given the chance, trust me, Cuba would be a superpower. If the Cubans were given the chance. Under 50 years of embargo, Cuba was able to develop their own vaccine in COVID. Cuba is building their own solar panel. Cuba has sent doctors to almost every country on this planet to help them. Mexico say now send home film doctor them. Think Italy said the same. In COVID, Cuba sent doctors all over the world. What if that country was not under embargo? How powerful they would be. Marshy, good evening.
Evening, Colin. I endorse what you're saying. And that news that you just played a while ago, Lucia Newman is in Havana right now. And she break the news today on Al Jazeera.
Yes.
The Russians sending an oil tanker coming to Cuba.
Yes.
It should arrive maybe about tomorrow.
It's
about tomorrow.
Well, it is in
So
Cuban
we are
water now,
waiting
the
to-
news says. It is in Cuban waters.
It is in. Okay, all right, good.
Hey,
So
you have
they're
some
on the
wicked
way.
people at
they are-
Jamaica, you know, Marshy.
Eh,
Some wicked people
Well-
living in this country, you know. Wicked.
Well,
you know.
let me say this. Let me say this. And I'm going to say this. And who the only thing what escape the PNP, and the PNP get the Cuban, them here. So that save them from this. But no politician, apart from the PNP, them, no do to Jamaica what Cuba done for us.
Yeah, man.
And it's the PNP who get them here.
The
Right?
Osemate
Under
High
the late
School.
great Michael Manley.
The Osemate High School was built by the Cubans.
Osemate, GC Faster.
Hold on.
Garcia,
Hold on.
Garvey Maceo.
Ease out, Marshy. Ease out. Because when you go to GC Foster College,
Yes.
that institution is the
Yeah, I tell you.
reason why Jamaica stands predominant
Yes.
in the top 5 athletics country
Yes.
in the world.
Yes. Yes.
We compete and beat the United States on a regular basis in athletics. The 100 meters, the 200
Yes.
meters, men and women. We have to give credit to that institution called the Osemate, built by the Cubans.
Viva Company.
Come again, Marshy, you drop out. GC Foster College, I mean. GC Foster College. Marshy?
Yes. Viva Comrade Michael Manley.
Yes.
Them know why you, well,
Garvey
them know
Maceo
why, them know why you, yes.
was built by the Cubans.
Built by Cuba. And there are many other things. And a while ago, you mentioned, there's a slip of the tongue. You mentioned they send the doctors and they send the,
Yeah.
what again you said them send?
They
They
send
send the
teachers.
doctor, they send the teacher,
They send
and
the
the
nurses. Yes, they send the nurses and dentists.
And then, yes, see dentists now pick up and strike, and these are the people that we get up and run out, and then you hear kaba, like Marlon Morgan.
Marlon
I come talk when-
is such a disappointment. Such a disappointment.
Me feel say, in the Kingston College load, people like him couldn't win champs because him carry too much dead weight. The Cuban have done so much for us and take up 2 people, them carry them over, train them, make enough of them, Dr. Holt, I do work for we, and those are the people we turn we back on.
No, but not even
Jamaica
just
Labour
turn.
Party.
Well, not even just turn them back. We turn our back and start cuss them. That is the
And
part
cost them.
that hurt me. When Marlon Morgan come and talk about what car can buy and how much car you can have a Cuba. Marlon, you are a disgrace to the human race.
Come on.
Come on,
painful
man.
when you
diss the
hear
people
people
there.
like them there.
You diss them and I
Yes,
send them
man,
home. And
big
people who have done
time.
so much for us. Instead, you just keep your
And
face quiet. Lock up the
But-
hole
but
in your
look.
face and keep quiet.
look what happened to we now. Look what happened because we in need of doctors. We in need of nurse. Right now, we need. Where Tufton I go? Where am I going to do? Where am I going to
No,
one
man.
thing Tufton can do good.
Tufton is going to get Market Me to be a consultant firm to find doctors to come to Jamaica. And we're going to have to pay
And pay
Market
them millions of dollars.
millions, billions, billions we're going to pay
Grace,
to
man.
get doctors here now. And we're talking about the Cuban government taking money, well, my information is that is 50%. But the doctors don't have a problem with it. What the doctors and the nurses do their work session and overtime to make up their
them
money
come tell me.
because they are
Make them-
happy to send back money
Yes.
to Cuba because they know the politician them at
Yes.
Cuba not thieving money. They're
All
not
right.
stealing
What?
the money in
Make
Cuba.
Marlon Morgan.
The money
Make
go to
Marlon Morgan.
educate the population.
Make Marlon Morgan and Kaffiton, make them tell you what Andrew Willis have done for Jamaica. Tell me what Andrew Willis have done for Jamaica for a lie to us and cannot be certified
He has done a lot. He has done a whole lot.
for himself.
And for Jamaica. That's why foreign
Well-
direct investment has been going down since 2016. Because when your leader cannot be certified, people abroad
Yes.
will look and say what Mark Golding said, the head of the stream is dirty. Hey,
Yes.
every blue hole and every falling dirty same way. Tell her.
And before me go, how would Darrell Vaz do? Why Darrell Vaz, them I use our sickness tonight and all kind of something. What did Darrell Vaz do when make him I go take time draw out?
Every
Me
day.
go ask you something.
Hold on.
Me go ask you something.
Before
And
you
me know
ask
nobody
me,
here when me ask you.
hold on, you go whisper. But before you ask me, every day bucket a go well, one day.
Yes.
One day. It
The
a go
bucket
drop
batter.
out. The bottom
Yes.
of
And me I go
whisper Marshall.
ask you and
Yes.
yes, and I wonder if Neville can tell you. But me I take my time and say,
Yes.
I wonder if Darrell Vaz are run before the investigation come out about the bus report there. I wonder.
The investigation about
Wonder
the bus report.
if that investigation about the bus.
It
Wonder
might.
if that a come out. I wonder if one of the investigation down a Petrojam where they near to come out to a next scandal brewing. I wonder if that's why Darrell are cut. And I wonder if him going to use farm sick in it. Because Darrell a farmer, you know. And no food in farming can farm sick.
Later.
Shaka!
Later.
My God.
Yes, sir. Teacher,
Yeah, man, what's up?
blessings and welcome, my brother. How you doing?
How good?
People them a holler for you from Saturday, you know.
Well,
Them a call for your Saturday, them a call for your Sunday. Me say, no, it's gonna be Monday.
okay.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, man, blessings.
How things?
How good, man.
Well, before we go now, we give you an update on what is going on with the country's economy, no? Tell us.
Well, the big thing today is that the Bank of Jamaica pumped 30 million in the foreign exchange markets, but the importers wanted 73.5 million.
So that's about 50% of what is needed, they put.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. What is
Yeah,
that?
and it demonstrates the demand for foreign exchange given the
No,
high
that's
levels
less
of
than 50%.
less than 50%. Man.
Less than 50% they put.
Yeah, man.
What can go so?
Well, maybe never anticipate such significant demand, which would be bad because the trade deficit was 5.3 billion for the first 11 months of last year. We're importing a lot more and the export side declining. So we have a big problem.
So we turn in a country of importers.
Yeah, man. We're not producing anything. And it's going to be harder to produce now given the war and the impact on fertilizer prices and all of those things.
You hear what Richard Pandu say, Raleigh?
Yeah, man. But we know him not need Pando if you tell us that, man. We done that already and I tell people.
But because them try class you and call
Yeah.
you all kind of names, maybe then hear what Richard Pandu say. Because
Yeah, man.
you've been saying it right here on Portland Spice TV. But for those naysayers and those labor rats and those unpatriotic Jamaican, listen to the head of SEPRAD, what he's saying.
Conflict on the Middle East in its fifth week and world oil and gas prices surging, Chief Executive Officer of the SEPROD Group, Richard Pandui, is warning that the Jamaican economy is in for a rough period in the coming months. Mr. Pandui, who heads one of Jamaica's largest food distribution companies, told Radio Jamaica News that food prices will skyrocket in coming weeks. He says the Middle East conflict is already affecting Jamaica, primarily through higher oil prices.
Yes.
Which has begun increasing transportation costs, electricity and production costs. In terms of food security, this translates into higher prices for both imported and locally produced food. Imported goods are becoming more expensive due to shipping costs, higher input costs for packaging, and those type of things. For local food production, local farmers are going to face higher input costs for fertilizers, animal feed and transportation. I don't expect any issue with the availability of food. The challenge will be the affordability. The overall economic effect, if the conflict continues, will be increased economic headwind with high inflation, pressure on household spending, and pressure on businesses to maintain margin. This conflict is extremely unfortunate, but it couldn't have come at a worse time for Jamaica. We'll now have had two major external shocks in 6 months, Hurricane Melissa and now this. So overall, headwinds ahead, tough times, but we'll hopefully be resilient as we've always done and get through this.
Richard Pandu with that Ralston.
Yeah, man.
When you say it, them call you bad mind and bad news whore.
Mm-hmm.
It is better to know and prepare than not to know.
Yeah, man. And anybody who know anything about how the world is structured would have said that would have to happen. Yep. Aluminum price is gone up because what the money them do? Them a target industrial plants, gas plants, desalination plants, aluminum plants. So all of those things means higher prices. Yep. Even if the war stops tomorrow, this thing will continue because a lot of those facilities gonna take 5 and 10 years to build them back. A very destructive war.
So they're mopping up any more money, Raleigh?
No mopping up operations took place today. They intervened in the market, but yeah, there's a massive shortfall in terms of 43.5 million less than what was wanted. So maybe they'll have to come back tomorrow, yeah? Or allow the dollar to drift down.
When you were saying to them, why you revaluing the Jamaican dollar without any production and squandering the money, is this an effect from that?
Of course. Friday we traded at 159.16. So they are going back to the 161 mark, which is where we should have been and not wasted all of that money.
Pick care, we go down all 156 with the one time.
Yeah,
what
all
was
them
that?
foolish.
A show off business?
Yeah, man. Stupidity.
My God.
Yeah, you're faced with that double crisis, Melissa and the war, which affects your foreign exchange earnings and cause you to be spending more foreign exchange, but you're appreciating the value of the currency. You're going in the wrong direction.
And now that the private sector wants US dollars, you're afraid to come out with it now?
So they have bills to pay. And those bills are going to get higher and higher. As Pando, you just tell you the supply chain has been broken for everything. So you have to find more money to pay for everything that is coming from outside.
Colin asks Raleigh why South Korea government is buying back government bonds.
Well, they are trying to keep the interest rates down because the interest rates will have to go up because of the impact of the war and inflation. So those are some of the things that many other countries trying all kinds of measures in order to cushion the impact of the war on their economies. Only Jamaica not now happening.
But the Prime Minister spoke for 4.5 hours, Raleigh.
Yep.
That people say was an excellent speech. Comprehensive. What is wrong with these people, Raleigh? How could the speech be excellent and comprehensive that did not address food security, did not address the war in the Middle East?
Because they are partisan. They are just concerned about their party. They are not concerned about Jamaica. Every president in the world, every prime minister in the world, every central banker in the world are talking about the impact of the current crisis on their economies and taking measures to mitigate the impact. From Australia to Philippines, right across the globe.
Oil price, how far now gas price in Jamaica gone since the war, Raleigh? Last time we spoke, I think it gone up $19. Where are we now?
Yeah, somewhere there about $25 or thereabouts, yeah.
Rotted.
And the prices are, yeah, man. And that's going to continue because Well, what is happening now is that the Iranians have opened that third front in the war now, the Houthi rebels, yeah? And they are saying, so apart from the Strait of Hormuz, there's also a place that they call, thing there, Bab al-Mandab, which is
Yeah.
another narrow waterway which the Houthis control. And
Yes,
they are saying,
that do a whole heap of goods.
yeah, and they are saying nothing is going to pass through there. Yeah, so Pando, he knows what he's saying. We are in for a rough time. Yep. Supply chain has been broken.
And therefore, the longer we take to start prepare for this,
Precisely.
the worse it going to affect us.
Precisely. Precisely.
It is
Just
this
like the
GLP. Go ahead, Ronnie.
just like the global economic crisis. It's the same approach, man. Same approach. Same approach.
They don't want to talk about it. But
Yeah.
it's this same GLP administration that crashed the Jamaican economy
Yeah, that
in
was when he come.
2011. Lick it up in our wall and write it off.
Yep. So the British, US oil closed at $104.66 per barrel today, and the British oil closed at 112.78. Up, 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 up.
So the Brent and the
West Texas closed at
West Texas.
104. And Brent at 112.
Let me ask the people them something, Raleigh.
Mhm.
Dr. Peter David Phillips, under the leadership of Portia Simpson Miller, came up with an excellent idea of putting in insurance on oil because we are an oil-dependent country.
Yeah, man.
100% we depend on oil.
Mhm.
And they put in an insurance called the edge tax to pay for the insurance. This government said it's not necessary. What they might tell we say no.
Maybe that's why they don't want to talk about it.
The people going to sit down and take this?
Well, boy, I don't know what is going to happen.
No.
The cost of living is going to go out of sight. Yep. So just as your Pando tell that household incomes are going to be squeezed, people are going to find it difficult to even buy food.
So I insure my house.
Yep.
And you stop my insurance, and when my house burned down, you're laughing at my face. I tell me that it is going to be all right.
It can't be all right. It can't be all right.
Where the people at Jamaica are going to do now? Drink rum and boom and smoke weed and the girls then broke out?
Yeah, pure that. The rum and boom price gone up, so they might not be able even to buy that. Yep. So right now, global stock markets is still red ink in the US, red ink in Asia. Yep.
Hold on, but I see something today. That gas price in US gone up 50% since the war.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that's why stocks are tumbling. Investors get nervous. People's 401k are being eroded at this particular point in time. Everybody, man. Even today, Jerome Powell was at Harvard University talking about the situation, the Fed chairman. So I don't know which world the people in Jamaica existing in leadership and the so-called economists them who come and talk on the radio and who get to talk frequently. Yep.
My God Almighty. Why are these people so wicked to Jamaica, Ralston?
I tell you, I don't know, brother.
No, all these financial analysts,
so-called economists and analysts, yes.
They are wicked to Jamaica. They are set of traitors.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
How can you not come talk the truth now and make the people them understand, say, listen, get to yourself ready. Melissa coming again.
Yeah, man. It's worse than Melissa because this is global. You can't run, you can't hide.
So nobody now can help you?
No.
Because everybody facing this storm?
Oh, precisely.
No plane now go fly in for this one?
Precisely.
Every tub of it stand up on their one bottom.
Bottom, yeah, man. Same way, sir.
I want to talk to Raleigh. 876-804-7072. The teacher there here. So we want to talk to the teacher. Talk to the teacher because if you're talking about Jamaica's economy, there's nobody in Jamaica. Neither Andrew Holness, Favor Williams, Floyd Green, Dr. Stokes. This year one year, that the one, there's nobody better than Ralston Iman. Vincent Edwards, good evening.
Good evening, Colin, Mr. Bell. Ralston is on the line.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Ralston,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the Separate boss. I know Separate produced the most coconut oil and butter in this country. And he's telling us to prepare. And then I'm following the international news, and it is telling us now that aircraft, plane owners now is concerned now, and now a recommendation is made to the Trinidad government to lock down Caribbean airline.
Mm-hmm.
And the airline now is considering now to put a thing they call name fluid rod. Tax like you have to pay more because
Yeah,
of
man.
the
Everywhere
I
in
am
the
nervous,
world.
Ralston.
Jet fuel
Ralston,
prices
I'm
gone.
nervous.
Yeah, man. Jet fuel prices gone up, so ticket prices have to go up. Tourism under significant pressure.
And
Yep.
and then what made me so nervous, Ralston, on one topic, and Donald Trump will give you 5 different things on the one thing for one day. He will tell
Yeah,
you
because
something in the morning.
The man,
this,
hold on. You know, hear the man say? The man say, out of 10, and think them do 15. They give themselves 15 hours and deal with the war. Out of 10.
mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Which everybody know. And listen to me, I say now.
Yes.
Everybody know, every investor right across the world know that that is just garbage. So the investors are preparing for the worst. That is why stocks are tumbling. That is why airline ticket
Right.
prices are going up, because jet fuel price going up. All of those things. Yep.
So
This is going to be another great recession. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nephew,
Ralston?
hold on.
Hello.
Nephew, help
Yes,
us out with
yes.
something here, because we are worried. Why is it that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister have not come to the country in a national broadcast yet to speak to us about the plans, how we're going to navigate this warrior and the prices that are going to hit Jamaicans?
Well, the news is telling us that yesterday, Ralston can back me up, that yesterday at some function, he's calling upon the Jamaican people to educate themselves more. Did you hear that, Ralston?
He never spoke. He never. No, he never spoke to the crisis in the Middle East. What he was telling the people is that the voters must become more economically minded and more focused on economic growth than when they are voting, and that the running an economy now is not like 50 years ago. That was a job at Michael Manley. So he never spoke anything about what is happening in the Middle East. Yeah.
But if the people educate themselves more on the economy, they wouldn't vote for him.
No, because
everybody who voted
we
for
get
the GLP
0.8% for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Everybody who voted for the GLP in the last election was dunce when it come to the economy.
Yeah,
because
man.
you couldn't vote for a party that for 9 years only grew the economy by 0.8%.
Correct.
So what he's saying to the people, when you voted in the last election, you were blind.
Yeah, man, he's confused.
Open your eyes.
I am asking on the opposition and all Jamaicans that in this time of world crisis, because of not to want Donald Trump, I'm asking everybody to join with the government and make we work together to pull Jamaica through this time of crisis.
But the government have to start with the initiative and start telling people them about the crisis and what they are going to do, and then ask the people for buy in. The government not say nothing about it yet.
But
and them 10 hours of budget presentation.
What I want to say to that is only one side can invite all hands on deck.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
it's
man.
the government.
Yep.
So the government must lead by welcoming all hands on deck. Bring the opposition to the table. Bring private sector to the table. Bring the NGOs to the table. Them can't just guard the table, nephew. So talk to your Prime Minister and tell him to come down after him punks and pride. Because what always go before a fall is pride.
I'm not
Yeah, man.
going to
And
disagree
and
with
them have
you,
to
Colin,
articulate
but
a vision and
we
story they
not
are
make
going to
we
deal with.
not make with too much with the politics now and Jamaica suffer.
Well, Neville,
The
listen, yeah,
separate
nephew.
bars
Hold
just
on,
Li-
nephew. Hold on
pack
there. Hold on,
into
nephew. Hold on. Ralston wants to say something.
What may I say to you, nephew? The government have to articulate a vision as to how they are going to deal with the crisis and then ask the country to buy in and support them. So
Yes.
far, after 8 hours of budget speaking, the government has not said a word about the crisis. So nobody can buy into anything because nobody
There's
know
nothing
what
out
they
there to
plan
buy
to do.
into.
Right, yep.
Ralston. I hear the minister for water is saying
Mhm.
that there's some drawdown of some money there. Them going to spend with the Ministry of Agriculture, they're going to spend some 50 million US.
Yes. Supposed to be
Yeah,
a
man.
grant.
And then
They
there
got a
go
grant from the climate fund in order to do that.
But nephew,
yes,
nephew,
yeah,
they
yes.
mustn't thief any. They must not steal a penny out of it. None must be stolen.
Khalid.
Don't call in me. You know the
Khalid.
difference, nephew. You know why the Cuban doctors don't have a problem with their government taking 50% of them salary? Because they know that the government of Cuba not stealing any. It is going to educate the rest of the people.
Mr. Bell.
The Jamaican
Mr.
government must stop thief with money. Time
Mr.
come
Bell.
now.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like me because them say they don't trust me. The type of politics we practice in this country from both sides of the fence, you think it is possible for those breeder money to spend and people not make a picture out of it, Khalid?
Jesus Christ. But nephew, they must know at time this in this period of time now, man. They not have a thief none. Then thief enough, man. That's why I like talk to you know, because sometimes you're rational, you know. And sometime, a little bit of time, you speak some truth.
No. It's the reality, Khalid.
Yes,
you
it's
really
true.
You believe 300 million US can spend
and then a thief
and fish at the road? We don't talk about thief. We don't talk about be gone. We talk again.
Later.
We talk again.
Rally.
All right, sir.
No, but them need to understand that in these times where people are going to suffer so much, them not have a thief none, man. Them can't allow this, man.
Them have enough already, man.
Yeah, man. We have our next caller. Auntie Dawn, go ahead.
Yes, greetings.
Blessings.
To you, Colin.
Greetings.
And Brother Ralston.
Yeah, man.
Before we go a thing there, Ralston, they have to give thanks for the sounding of your voice, because you see, if your voice did sound like certain people, well, public speakers, and I bring the news where you bring to us. I mean, the education is education, but it's also enlightening.
Yes.
Because although you're enlightened, it depresses you, you know.
Me know, man.
Because it's like, you lick your head against a wall, because like them not take my chat from you, you know.
No, man.
But
Them
the
not.
good thing is that your voice not sound so distressing. So,
Yeah, man.
thanks for that.
All right. Blessings.
No,
Yeah.
Colin, more ask question.
Yeah, man.
When we send farm workers to Canada and US, government no get money out of it.
Of course, then also Jack Smith, they got prison. And
Yeah,
the
man.
worker, them money Jack Smith, the thief, you know. And got prison for, you know,
Government-
Portia Simpson Miller
Me
put on
know.
our foot.
Me know.
Yes.
But government train with farmer them when them as taxpayers money train them when them a send them up there.
Train what?
All right. So why we are making an issue when the Cuban them train them people, send them to work or send them out to work, and them get a cut?
No, you see.
Another question I want.
Go ahead.
No. Is the government, when we have the Cuban workers out here, is it our government who is responsible for housing them?
No, I don't think so. The Cuban, them have to pay
No,
rent.
them have to pay rent, man.
Okay. No, I don't know. Don't know if anyone in the chat or if you are Ralston know. Any of them live in a low income communities?
No.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What about them living in a ghetto?
Yeah.
Papi in Tavern, all of them places. The one of them
All right,
work
so
at
yes.
university.
What
Yeah, man.
about
The
them?
one of
So
them.
they would live like we're students that come from rural areas on board.
Yeah, man. Papi in Gardentown, the one of them work at university, live at Papi in them live at Gardentown, them live at Ellison
Yes.
Flats,
Yeah.
them live at
All right. And
Augustown, them
maybe
live at Tavern.
Hermitage
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah, man.
All right. So in other words, but them the rent they still not cheap in Ralston.
Yep. We know.
Them rent they not cheap. So how
Yeah,
would I
man.
want like say them a human trafficker? They are being trafficked or exploited.
No, but
Yeah,
you see,
man.
this
Them
is
one,
Because
just
them,
of the salary.
these
Of the
arguments
salary.
just come up, Antidan. These arguments just come up from some wicked labor rights who could not sit
Yeah.
down and accept that the government blunder by accepting a deal to send home the Cubans without putting anything in place and never stand up for the sick people of Jamaica who need the assistance of the Cubans. So them are going like say the Cubans were exploited after Andrew Holness told Marco Rubio that we are ensuring that the Cubans are not being exploited. And then you have people like Marlon Morgan come out and are going like them at this Cuba after Cuba has done so much for us. It's just a set of ungrateful labor rights.
Yeah, man.
And I am glad you mentioned that Cuba has done more for us than we can do for them.
That we have
And
done
you
for
know,
them.
they would have done more if the JLP did allow the microdams them to be built.
Correct.
And we
Would have
wouldn't
no
have so
water
much
crisis
water
that way,
issue
man.
now.
That's true.
Because some of them mountain top of
Yeah, man. That's true.
where our people live, microdams would have been up there because microdams would have been placed in communities where it is very
Yep. True.
uneconomical for pump water go up there.
That's true.
And I think that was the microdam program. That was
Yep.
what it was for.
Hold on,
Yep.
Antidan. Hold on
water.
Hold on a little bit. Hold on. Beg you a minute there. Beg you a minute.
In terms of Cuban doctors in Jamaica, let us be clear. The Cuban doctors in Jamaica have been incredibly helpful to us. Jamaica has a deficit in health personnel, primarily because many of our health personnel have migrated to other countries. We are, however, very careful not to exploit the Cuban doctors who are here. We ensure that they are treated within our labor laws and benefit like any other worker. So any characterization of the program by others certainly would not be applicable to Jamaica. We are ensuring that our program complies with all the international laws and standards to which we are a party to.
Yes, Antidan, go ahead.
And finally, it is not only, a lot of people think that it's only medicine, in the area of medicine, that the Cuban train us in, you know. They have areas like psychology, sports psychology, and so, you
Yeah,
know.
man. GC Foster and all of those places. Yeah.
So,
Ocean Marty. Yeah.
so you know,
Mona High. Yeah.
only areas of most of us. We
Yeah,
heard
man.
them talking when Marlon was talking about how much of the Cuban them can buy a car, whatever. Plenty of us in the free world can't buy the car them where we want to buy.
That is it.
And we can't. And we have highly educated people them a work at call center and wholesale because we can't afford to send them to school. So in our freedom, we're still not achieving, a lot of us, majority of us, still not achieving. And one thing the Cuban them do for them people like you, I have never lived in a communist country, but there are basic things that if you have a government will give you health, education, and housing, and opportunities to work. We don't see what else you want because other things will come on to you.
All right, Antidan. Thanks for the
And
call.
if it wasn't the embargo, if it wasn't for the embargo, Cuba, and maybe they will be able to buy more
Yeah,
modern
man, they'll be
cars.
better off,
And
man, without a doubt.
you mentioned something you forget. No care what, the thing, the era, the Cold War era, America has never placed embargo on Russia. They have never placed embargo on Red China.
All
Because
right.
people forget, say, so we used to call it Red China.
Thank you.
Okay, take
All
it.
right. Obi,
Hi, Raleigh. Hi,
Yeah,
Colin. How you
man.
do?
we're there, man.
Blessing.
Walk
Raleigh,
on.
where you say?
Yeah, man, we're there,
Boy,
brother.
I'm there. I give thanks. I just weigh in quickly on the Cuban issue. Colin and Raleigh, I have a brethren in Mandeville who leaves Cuba, gone to Cuba 147 times. And, when a man tell you the situation with Cuba in terms of discipline, in terms of the space, everything in Cuba, it is just impeccable. And for example, Colin, and the man say you don't know how to do it, but let's say you have 70 people at the bus stop. When the bus comes, it's like the person who is at 27 or 30 in the line. That's the number that they're going to go in the bus, They actually just come and count up and know that, listen, that person was ahead of them. That is the orderly society that they operate. And Colin and Raleigh, we know that it is just belly and pure bad mind some people are carrying to Cuba. Because had it not been for the embargo that has been going against Cuba for the last 60 plus years, certainly our neighbor, our big neighbor to the north, certainly would look pale in comparison to Cuba. As a matter of fact, when you look at certain areas in Cuba, Cuba has basically outdone them. When you talk about their medical points, when you talk about so many things that you can say, Cuba is indeed first world. So we want to hail the Cuban in a big way, and thank God we understand that some oil is en route to them, so the Cuban people will see a reprieve. I have a few more things that I want to say, Raleigh, but Colin, but I know you have a caller, so let's take the callers, and then I weigh in.
Hold on. Go ahead, caller. Thanks for holding. Good evening.
You're welcome. Good evening, Raleigh, Colin, and you're talking about the Cuban situation, and we have to go back to what Senator Motley said in the Parliament on Friday. And when people speak disparagingly about the Cubans, because Marlon Morgan equating a car to education shows you the depth of their depravity. Because the Cubans weren't working in a car, they were taking care of human beings. So if he thinks that being able to buy a car is more important than the ability to take care of your fellow human beings, then somebody like that I would not want to be associated with somebody like that. And you look across the length and breadth of Jamaica throughout the 50 years. Jamaica's literacy rate was highest in the 1970s. What is it right now? What is Cuba's literacy rate? And for a country that has an embargo on it for as long as I can remember, for decades, and to be able to send trained doctors, nurses, professionals all across the world. What does that, like you said, Colin, if that country did not have an embargo, can you imagine what would be happening right now? That country would be the star of the Caribbean.
Maybe a Cuban would have there right now.
That's correct.
Exactly. Everybody would want to go there. But here's the thing. When Senator Motley talked about respect, you cannot respect a person who is wishy-washy.
No.
And here's the thing. He could have defended the program, but you know why he can't defend the program? He has no integrity.
And when people have dirt on you can't stand up on principle. Because everybody knows you're not got no principle.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Why do you think the oil can go through? And why do you think? There are many people all across the world who are going to Cuba right now, you know. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. And what Jamaica is going to find themselves, the position that they're going to find themselves in, is after, give it 2-3 years, and all the dust has settled, and everybody is back doing, you know, you're able to do things with Cuba. What are they going to do? Can they now reach back to Cuba, reach out to the Cuban government and say,
But it's not Uncle Cuba
we
with
would
dash
like to
dirty
restart the
water in
program?
them face.
It can
Venezuela
happen
too.
under PNP administration, but not
Caller.
a Jamaica Labour Party administration.
With
Yes.
dash dirty water in a Venezuela face too
Yeah,
after
man.
Venezuela went out and a lima help, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is the problem we're having with this administration, is that they have no integrity. They are not loyal to anybody.
Correct.
It's just like they go with any which way the wind blows. So
Yeah,
they
man.
have no moral ground upon which to stand. So anybody can come with anything and say anything to them. And you know who they throw under the bus? The people, because it's the people who are suffering now.
Correct.
Given what is happening with the Cuban doctor situation, and what the politicians do, get up and speak disparagingly about them, because Marlon Morgan will not be affected by it, you know. If he should get sick, he will not be affected.
Oh.
But other persons who vote them into office, they will be affected. So you see, they voted for their own downfall when they sold their votes for $5,000. This is the reward. This is the consequences of those actions. So on the one hand, you cannot feel sorry for them, but then the other, you have to feel compassion, because those persons who wanted better for themselves did not support this, but they get caught up in it. I said the good suffer with the bad, but we pray and move on. But you know, like they say, this too shall pass. Have a good evening.
Raleigh. Raleigh, how
man.
do we as a small nation, depending on oil, navigate this period? Because since the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister are not telling us, maybe we need to tell them. How we going to handle this, Raleigh?
Well, them have to either provide targeted assistance to some people or reduce the tax on petroleum products. That is being done right across the world, Australia, UK, and all of those things. You can't be talking about balancing the budget at this time when we have this massive international crisis. They have 3.6 billion lined up, so they could easily reduce the tax on petroleum products in order to give the economy a break from higher inflation, higher interest rates, and a deeper recession than is necessary.
Raleigh. Yeah. Thanks, Colin. Raleigh. And number of us, we have a lot of motorists here in Jamaica. And a number of us have been paying the $7.50 per litre for the edge that we are not enjoying. You believe that it would be too much to ask the government to relieve us of the $7.50 per litre, even for a temporary period of 6 months or so?
But that's what Raleigh just said.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
most countries are doing that. Yeah, man. Most countries are doing that. That is what is required right now.
Good. And Raleigh, just I know we're talking economics generally, but can you share with our people how the present accusation of what is taking place out there in the constituency of Central Kingston, which are member of the political executive, the government, how that impact dovetail into impacting the economy generally?
Well, I mean, if we continue in this area where money is being misallocated, then that have a negative impact on the economy, because if you don't have enough money and you're wasting money and money is disappearing in a strange way, then that will have a negative impact on the economy. Government won't be able to deliver the services that they are supposed to be delivering with the people's taxes, and that affects confidence, economic activity, everything that is.
Yeah, Raleigh. We are aware. Sorry, Colin. Can I continue?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
We are aware that we operate an innocent until proven guilty. So we are not trying the good gentleman here, Minister of State and Williams. But based on the allegation so far, coming from another elected official, do you think this is sufficiently egregious for the Prime Minister to use his executive power that he used to install Mr. Williams, that he should use that same power and relieve him from the executive, certainly until this investigation? And do you believe that MOCA and the other state agency should be in on this from the very first tape was released?
Yeah, man, just like how he said during the Portia Simpson administration that he would not be sitting down with Richard Azan, who never did anything. The same principle must apply. But the Prime Minister is not a man of principle. Prime Minister is a man of expediency.
But doesn't this need some expediency at this time, Raleigh?
No, it needs principle.
And expediency, something needs to be done right now.
What I said, no, I talk about two different things here. Yeah, it needs to be done. But what we're saying is not a man of principle. Yeah, him only do things that didn't suit him. Yeah. Yeah. So if he was for standing up for principle, he would adopt the same principle that he tried to adopt with Richard Azan when Portia was Prime Minister.
But didn't he do something similar with a Ruel Reid?
Yeah, man, same thing. Prime Minister is not a man who is strong on anti-corruption.
But he did put out Ruel Reid, didn't he?
Yeah.
But at that time we never have at that time we never know him statutory filing was certified them time there.
Precisely.
But since his statutory filing has not been certified, he can't put nobody under no pressure.
No, he's compromised. That is why I'm telling you that, I mean, he's not a man of principle. So we don't expect anything to happen. Yeah, not a man of principle.
We have a caller over here, so go ahead, caller.
Good evening, Colin. Good evening, Uncle Ralston, Mr. O'Brien, and everyone in the chat.
Yeah, man. Good evening.
For me no have big pot. Figure boy no bell and goat. For me no want no old house gun tumble down for me.
Eric Donaldson.
But if it tumble down,
we have to build a new one.
We got to build a new one.
Oh, yes.
Tell the people them. Come out and tell the people them. As you said, this Prime Minister needs to come out, and the Finance Minister and the whole JLP administration needs to come out and gather the people on all sides. Opposition and the TOSOJ and the POJ and everybody, and sat us all down and said, look, we screw up, we never do good, we make some big mistakes, but look, we have to move on. So let us, what's the best thing moving on? But as you said, he doesn't have it in him. So, Uncle Ralston,
yeah, man,
you put out a suggestion for all of us how to bring them together, because even though they're not listening, they're hearing. And even though they're not obeying or complying, they know your truth.
So we just have to continue to educate the people and make the people know that there's a grave global crisis in place. Them now have to listen to him. Them can watch them TV and watch them phone and hear what the other international experts are saying, seeing what the prime ministers, president, chancellors of Germany and all of those places, what they're saying about the crisis and what they are doing to help their people. Yeah? So don't listen to them because they are pretending that nothing is happening. The same thing they did in 2008 and caused us to be in this big problem that we are in now. So when Dana Dixon go up at the university and tell the people and say, over the last 19 years, that was when the crisis was created and everything was all right. And, yes.
When she did that?
Sometime last week, she was at Carmack and telling the people at Carmack, so don't carry any fake news because everything was bad over the last 18 years. Since Angela has come in now, everything is good. Yep, all them kind of nonsense.
The worst time in Jamaica's economic history is between 2008 and 2011.
Yep.
That was the time when Jamaica's economy lick up in our wall, crash and write off and get expelled off of the road of economy. Fiscal discipline. They took us off the road. Suspend our license.
Yep.
We couldn't drive. We couldn't talk to nobody. What are they talking about? Raleigh, before I go back to Obi and the caller, how soon will we have to recast that fiasco called a budget debate?
From the first day it was presented, there's no budget. There's no budget. That doesn't need to be thrown in a garbage bin from the very first day. It addressed none of the issues. None of the issues raised by the independent fiscal commissioner, who is not me or you, who them say I fight against them, who is a statutory man who is paid by them. None of those things were addressed. And none of the things in relation to the current global crisis were addressed. So there's no budget. It's just garbage.
So we are saying right now.
Right now.
Within the next, not 72, but 100, giving them 104 hours to recast and represent a budget, a credible budget to the people of Jamaica.
And let us start with the first basic. The oil price in the budget is $62 for 4 years. West Texas is now trading at $104 and Brent is trading at $112. Many experts say by May we'll be looking at $140 and $150 if these things continue. Yeah. That was one. The second thing, the fiscal commissioner said, you don't sign any agreement to the public sector workers yet, but you put $43 billion as contingency. That was not addressed. The fiscal commissioner stressed that how are you going to spend $205 billion in capital budget when you couldn't spend $134 billion? That has not been addressed yet. The fiscal commissioner said he projected the budget saying that Melissa damaged 41% of GDP in infrastructure when it turned out to be 57%. None of those things have been addressed. You tell the people them lie that the government can't get any money from BOJ when Nigel Clark borrowed $33 billion from the BOJ, took $33 billion as a dividend in 2001, 2002. None of those things have been addressed.
2021, 2022.
Yeah, man. None of those things were addressed.
So we are calling on Prime Minister Andrew Wilness, Finance Minister Favour Williams. We're giving you 144 hours to come with a new budget, a credible budget to the people of Jamaica, because what you presented last week and the week before last is not credible.
Yeah, man, I said garbage.
Rubbish.
Yeah,
Obi?
But Raleigh calling caller. Raleigh, even before we have the situation here with the oil price running away, wasn't the budget certainly crafted on a bogus premise from day one? Because when you look at what the oil price was forecast at and what it was even before we start seeing the movement, wasn't the budget basically in trouble from that time?
From day one, man. It's just garbage. The fiscal commissioner told you even before the presentations were made in parliament. Just garbage. And so they addressed what the man said. They took him out personally.
What was the oil trade? What was the oil trading at when the budget was passed? What was oil price at when the budget was passed?
Brent was trading at almost $70 and West Texas was trading at $66 and change.
And we craft a budget at 62.
60
people, listen. 60. We craft a budget at 60. You know,
62 over a 4-year period.
Hold on. 60 or 62, Raleigh?
62 over a 4-year period.
$62.
So the lack of market intelligence, no intelligence whatsoever as to what is taking place in the various market. Yeah, man.
Worries tonight.
Hold on there, Obi.
Yeah, man.
Caller.
Colin, you know what? Today when I call in there, I'm saying it again. I hear you guys talk about that agriculture bailout or grants that coming to the Jamaican farmers. Colin, I would like you to do a deep dive research on that, because with everything that I just listened to and Uncle Ralston tell you from the day one, the budget not good, and what Dana Morrison said last week, Dixon said last week is a PR thing. We need to investigate if it's true, because the farmers, things now go through. Then things them are rotten. The people them pay a big price. on all this food insecurity that we're looking at not going to get any better. So we would rather have the concrete evidence, Uncle Ralston, that it is so. And this is not another PR scam.
Correct. Yeah,
That's
man.
all I'm leaving you with. Please,
Agreed.
I'm begging you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Obi.
She gone?
Yes.
She called me today. The caller here, our committee listening and call.
Obi.
She called me today.
Obi.
Yes.
I keep muting you because your background noisy and I'm getting a ring. So I don't know if you're on speakerphone or you have a headpiece, but I'm getting that ring.
No, I'm actually driving. Hold on, let me just pull up here so I can just conclude what I'm saying.
Yeah, man, take way off for the Bluetooth. All right.
Let me just pull up here and just. Any better there?
Oh yes, that is beautiful. Much
All
better.
right, cool. So I was saying that our dear beloved caller, she called me today and she made the same point, the doubt as to the grant and the program. And I told her that it is indeed factual. Your government and the agency that basically put that doing this, they could never come out and say that if it wasn't so. And I referenced that it was on the front page of today's Observer, the headline, and the body of the article is on page 4. Right? I went through it. I promised to basically read it even further sometime tonight. However, what I think the caller should be, we all need to focus on is the implementation, how it's implemented. Because remember, those fertilizer that we got from the Moroccan government and how it was distributed. So I think that's where we must be focusing on, my dear sister. Look at how it is implemented. The grant and the program is indeed a factor. Yeah, that's not an hoax. That's not a quote-unquote PR stunt, as it were. But the implementation of it, that's where the rubber will hit the road. Do you agree with me on that, Raleigh?
Correct. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Agreed. Yeah, man.
And we're begging them not to steal any of this money.
Yeah.
That 50 million US must go into agriculture. Must go to the farmers.
But here's the thing now, Colin.
Yeah.
35 million is coming from the Global Climate Fund, 35 million US, which them can't steal. But then for the government of Jamaica to put up 15 million.
That is what they're going to steal out of?
Yeah, man.
That is what they are going to say that they put up, that not put up.
Oh, you get it.
Hey, it bad when you can't trust your government, you know.
Yeah, man.
Terrible.
Yep.
When you can't trust the people who supposed to be administering these kind of funds, when we have to come here and bawling out, don't steal any.
Yeah.
We're taking your calls, listeners and viewers. If you're just joining us on Portland Spice TV, we implore you to subscribe to the channel, share the channel, like the channel. The number to call is 1-876-804-7072. Call us on WhatsApp. You only can call us on WhatsApp right now. We have not sorted out the straight calls as yet. I assure you that we'll be sorting out that pretty soon, that you can call us straight on 1-876-804-7072. But now, WhatsApp will suffice. Give us a call. We have Ralston Hyman on the line, Jamaica's top financial analyst. Nobody in Jamaica is better on Jamaica's economy than Ralston Hyman. No Faval Williams, no Andrew Holness. You all need to listen to Ralston Hyman and act upon the suggestion. Listen to the data and be honest with yourself. The budget that you cast, that some people are saying was comprehensive, was not worth the paper it was written on. And we need to have a budget that makes sense. We need to have something that we can work with. And all of us can come together and be a part of it. Hold on, caller. Obi.
Hello?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I'm saying a credible budget. And finally, Colin, let me leave so I can talk. Raleigh, you are what is going on now? What is going on now generally in the economy? how do you forecast the next 3 to 6 months?
More economic declines.
Give us in the areas that you expect to see these declines, Raleigh.
Right across the board, as Spando is said, food prices are going to go up, household income is going to get squeezed, revenues of firms going to go down, people are going to be laid off, all of those things, because all of those things are happening globally at this particular point in time. So even though the people who are preparing, they're having problems, and we are not preparing. So our problems will be greater than many other countries.
What effect the $1,000 on minimum wage will have?
That no have no effect, man. That no effect. That can buy out some gasoline. No effect.
All right, Obi, little more.
No effect whatsoever.
Bless you.
Blessings.
We have a caller on the line. Caller on 876-804-7072. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Trumpet.
Blessings, my brother.
Why, the $1,000 has blown away. It has evaporated from the first day it was implemented. Because basically, when you look at it, just bus fare alone.
Yeah, man.
You know, gone with it costs more than that. If you're gonna, go to, I mean, if you have to take 2 buses, paying like $250 going 250 for 250, that's $1,000. Taxi, they take 4 taxis. Those taxi cars carry more than 1 people in it.
Yeah.
So basically, the $1,000 that was put on, it literally very, very, very small. But
I remember I said no gone on yet, so the prices them all go up before it gone on. Hold on the caller.
Hold on the caller. Hold on the caller. Go ahead, Raleigh.
Remember I said the $1,000 not gone on yet, July 1. So the prices them all even increase before the $1,000 gone on, so it does evaporate.
So before that $1,000 come and get liquid.
The price them all start go up. Yep. Remember July 1 before the $1,000 come in, yeah.
Oh my God. Raleigh, some people are saying that the government can't do nothing or couldn't do nothing.
I mean them can't do nothing. I mean them can't do nothing. Remember.
That's what a man called me yesterday. Man said, yo, the government can't do nothing. So it's said.
Okay. Oh, so it's them set it up.
Yes.
Them set it up. Them set it up. There are many options. Them set it up.
Tell us some of those options.
As I said, one of the options is that the government still have $3.2 billion of cheap money lined up with. No, remember them get the 400 million from IMF.
Yeah. Them take 400 million already. Yes.
Yeah. Them still have all of that lined up so them could have easily use what is happening. Most companies and countries now in the Middle East, some other thing what them call force majeure.
Yes.
War and all kind of something. The government could have used that, and run a larger fiscal deficit than them projected for and cushion the blow on the people and keep the economy up rather than doing what them doing and sinking the economy more.
Plus, so we have suspended the fiscal rules.
Precisely. And we have that, may I tell you. So it's a foolish thing him talking. He's ill-informed. Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I mean, the government keep, from even before the election, make it seem as if the economy is good and people's lives are better.
Yeah.
But if the economy is so good, why they have to take an increase in salary? And when you really check it out, what they give back to the people, they promise you $1,000, but technically they lend JPS money to reinstate the lighting, and then no light bill gone up. So when you check it out, light bill gone up.
But caller,
everything gone up. Water go up, everything.
Caller, let's not beat them for the JPS loan. That was a necessary move. Don't
man. Yeah, man.
That was necessary.
Yeah, man. We don't have a problem with that.
That was necessary.
Yeah, man.
And we're not playing no politics around here. We are talking truth. The JPS loan had to be done.
Yeah, man. Don't forget about the power upon running. You can't run the economy without power. Mm-hmm.
The longer the power take for go back up is the worse would that be.
Yeah, man.
So the JPS loan was a necessary move. Well done by the government with the JPS loan. Give them what they do.
Them kick the can down the road and turn it into football, you realize?
In terms of what?
They turn everything into football. They are playing political football. football.
Yeah,
and play politics with everything. Yeah.
no,
True.
that is true. It's play them a play.
You know,
Them not
and
serious about nothing.
I think the opposition have a sharp not themselves. I mean, Mr.
Agree.
Mark Golden on the fix, and I think it's a very impressive move. Where you have to try and make them.
We have to do what? Caller? We lost the caller. Mr. Mark Golden was on the fix.
Yeah, the fix program.
Yeah, man.
And I think that was explained.
Yeah.
The opposition have to start make themselves be everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Respond to
what role, caller? Let me ask you this question: what role does the people, the population of Jamaica, have in all of this?
You see, the population need to be led.
2 million.
It's just like
2 million people. What role they have? Is only to follow?
No, but if you look at it, even when Andrew only says something, I hear people say, boy, I couldn't do nothing more because a lot of people expect to be led. A lot of people are followers in the society. You remember the educational system, the majority of people, you know, them can't really analyze things for themselves. They leave it up to people like you, people on the radio, to analyze for them. So now the politicians have to be there, the opposition have to be there to kind of, you know, play a good match against the government to ensure that the message is brought across, right across and follow.
Yeah, man. True.
Yes, yeah, Papa. I accept.
Yeah, man. True.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
So, Rally, something boiling on me doing a rally. Something boiling on me. You see this gas tax?
Yeah, man.
Take from if we insure or not insure.
Yeah,
we
man.
believe we need to rebel, you know, we have to take no gas increase in a rally. The people of Jamaica must not accept this increase in petrol that is taking place in Jamaica, you know. We need to hold the government accountable. When government make bad move, they need to pay for it.
But as the caller says, somebody have to mobilize the people.
That is a point.
Yeah, man.
That is a point.
Yep. Somebody have to mobilize the people. So they need for give back the tax. The people are that in Australia and all of those places reducing the taxes on gasoline and all of those things.
But we don't want back no $7 rally. $7 can't help when gas gone up by $25 already.
That's another thing, yeah.
Oh, $7 gonna help when we did put our insurance in place. That anytime gas pass $64.50, the insurance would have kick in and pay for the extra. And you take it off, still take my money. And no, the shit hit the fan. Y'all tell me say it must fall back on me, Rally.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
Serious problem.
I don't believe so. And the opposition need to start talk about this.
Yeah, man.
Because they put it in place. Go ahead, caller.
Solid.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rolson.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Colin.
Yes.
Colin. Did me tell you something? Maybe you must say he's a madman for the Cuban Russian doctor, right?
Yes.
Who look at that talk till night on day. All of that talk go through the Prime Minister years and come through 1 year. You hear me?
Yes.
You believe me?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So, and the people them vote for there. Leave the Prime Minister, make him do what he want to do.
But
if not forget this, look here, you have a lot of loyal PNP who vote the other day, right? The PNP but to get more seats, right?
Yes.
But I believe a well-thinking PNP. We agree with me. In the figure, civil servant them no raise. The taxi man them no forget no raise. Nobody no forget no raise. You're not going to agree with me. But that's how politics go. Leave the Prime Minister alone. Because we could have talked till night and day. He not listen to nobody.
So Pringle, are you saying that after Peter Phillips put in an edge tax and start insure Jamaica's oil bill, the purchase of oil, Peter Phillips saw the need that we need to insure this. Yeah? And then this administration said, no, we don't need no insurance. And now that push come to shove, we must just sit down and take it.
Yes, man, leave the man, make him do what he do. You remember me tell you the other day, so the Prime Minister pinch the money where the people have back up in hurricane. Because you want to save. You want to save as much money you can save out there if you do what you want to do. You don't realize that?
Me sleeping. Me sleeping.
Hello?
Me sleeping.
You asleep?
Yes.
We do.
Then yourself, you leave the Prime Minister alone. So me go and sleep.
Huh?
You rally?
Yeah, man, leave him alone. You can't tell the Prime Minister don't listen to nobody.
Me I talk to the people of Jamaica. To hell with the Prime Minister. I talking to the people, rally. I talking to the opposition. Are we going to sit down and watch gas price skyrocket at Jamaica when we paying the insurance in a Pringle? And I like him stop taking the insurance money, you know.
Right. Colin, they are all time PNP money now. Radical, you must say too radical. But leave the man. Make the people feel it, man. And then when the people feel it,
hold on, Pringle. Let me
it will be better.
Hold on. Let me hear from a
to the
wise.
opposition.
Hold on, Pringle. Hold on. Let me hear from a wise ahead. Rally, what you say?
Good on.
Pringle said we must leave the Prime Minister alone. Make him doing thing. Public sector workers not forget no raise. Taxi man not forget no raise.
So all them all survive. So all them all survive. All them all survive.
That no one know.
Can't work so.
Yeah, man, the man then get opportunity to vote the other day and they vote back by the power.
Oh, okay.
So they agree with the man, but the man is to win.
Wait, so they
give
him the mandate.
When they feel it, then we you see what they do.
Okay.
That's how we look at things, you know.
Wait, so years can't hear behind we feel.
Yeah, and then get opportunity to vote one day. And then vote back for the man. So they think to them the bitter medicine when they take a long time.
That is it. You need to tell them, you know. Tell them about the bitter medicine.
Oh boy. So say I'm satisfied, so them need for us get their medicine.
All right, Pringle, I hear your brother. Pringle?
Gone.
No, I'm still there. Yeah, Pringle.
Listen, look here, me know I can't say it, you know, but me can't say it.
All right, my brother. A little more. We talk.
Yeah, man. Respect.
1-876-804-7072. We have Ralston Hyman on the line. We're talking governance. We're not talking politics. Because Jamaica right now are good down in the precipice again. These are the same people that took us to the bottomless pit in 2010 and 2011. Yes, caller. Hello? These are the same people that took us to the bottomless pit. Really, what can the people of Jamaica do now? What must individuals start to do? Because this thing will affect each and every individual in Jamaica. A man messaged us last week, asked we say if Jamaica in the war based on how we were talking about the war. But what can individuals do at this time, Raleigh?
The first thing that we have to do is to change our mindset from one of denial.
Good
evening, remember,
Brother Bell.
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Go ahead, Raleigh.
And remember that we're part of a global community. And everybody have a television, everybody have a smartphone. They can look at the television and they can see what is the state of the war, what other countries are doing in order to help their people to cope with what is coming. What is coming is a great famine, food shortage, food security problems because of the whole thing about fertilizer and all of those things. Higher energy costs, which means higher interest rates. So your mortgage, your car loan, everything will cost you more. So you have to be more conservative in your living. And you have to put pressure on the authorities to find out what corrective measures or what mitigating measures they're going to take. You can't just sit down and take it and just say, boy, I just so. No better, no there. It can't work like that.
I hear the argument about fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I see abundant in Jamaica now, Raleigh? A
Mm-hmm.
thing called sargassum,
Mm-hmm.
seaweed. Why we're not using that as a fertilizer for some of our crops?
All right. So while we are taking mitigating measures, those are some of the steps that we need to be taking in terms of fertilizer, in terms of renewable energy. We have to use more wind, we have to use more water to generate energy. So while we
More
are,
solar, more
yeah, and
sun.
those things, yeah, man. So while we are taking steps to cushion the impact, we have to also be investing in alternative sources of things. That is where the growth will come from. So we have to accelerate energy policy. We have to look deeply at agricultural policy in terms of how we deal with fertilizer and all of those things. This is the time when we need to get in more R&D and all of those things to reduce our dependence on the rest of the world. Because one of the things that we don't understand, 60% of the import bill last year for the first 11 months had to do with imported raw materials, 2.1 billion, and imported food and consumer goods, 1.9 billion. That's 4 billion out of the 6.8 billion. So we're heavily dependent on the rest of the world for all of those things. And the supply network is blocked at this particular point in time. So we have to be looking at how we can domestically get some of those raw materials, plant our own food and all of those things. That is what is going to put the people to work and to keep the economy up. If we just continue on the current trajectory, we're going to have a big problem.
Have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, Comrade Trumpet Bell.
Blessings, my brother. Ed boy, we hearing you, man. Go ahead. Ed boy?
I want. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
I want to fully agree with the comments that was just given by Professor Raleigh, because I believe that was what I was actually calling to share, to ask where are we going to. We need to look quickly at an energy diversification.
Yeah, man.
And that energy diversification needs to happen in two areas. One,
yeah,
I believe, and Raleigh would agree with me, that it needs to happen quickly in solar. And what we do with for example, the new JPS company must commit, the new owners or the buyers or purchasers of JPS must commit that they're going to bring in a certain level of renewable energy. Yes. We need to stop dance around this issue around nuclear energy. We need to be bold, we need to be brave, and we need to push quickly if we can acquire the necessary permits for nuclear energy. We need to proceed with that. And also in water security, we need to move quickly to desalination.
Are you aware that we have a nuclear plant in Jamaica?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. All right.
So we need to expand. What I'm saying, is we need to expand. I am aware that we have a solar farm as well. We need to expand our contribution, and also a wind energy farm, because I'll tell you what is going to happen. If we don't move quickly, the Strait of Hormuz bridging won't going to be open until maybe 3 months, 4 months time. This war is going to be continuous.
Even when it open, Iran is now going to put a toll on it. Going forward.
Yes, so it's going to affect shipment. It's going to affect shipment, and we need to. And as Raleigh said, I've been asking the same questions. Like, for example, I remember we used to laugh at Christopherson when he was Minister of Agriculture. Not one of my favorite politicians, but in fact, he did say something, and I think we need to look at diversifying our trade partner. For example, Africa is the largest importer of a lot of finished produce agricultural items, canned goods. Why aren't we using this opportunity now, in light of the crazy occupant of the White House who keeps on imposing tariff? Why are we not using the opportunity now to expand our trade with Africa?
Man.
The Exim Bank, the Caribbean African Exim Bank, they have earmarked $5 billion, and they keep on asking no major Caribbean company have taken up some of these.
Hold on, the Edward. Raleigh, you want to come in?
No, man, that's correct. Only Barbados so far has been dealing with the African bank. That's true.
A flight leave where St. Kitts the other day go straight to Africa.
Yeah, well, we have been having that for a while, Colin, because in fact, the same airline that owns Leon, the same owners of Leon 2020, the new Leon, They are also the owners of that flight called Earpiece they fly out of Lagos, Nigeria, and they come directly to Barbados, then to Antigua. There's also a flight from St. Kitts with 100 persons led by the Prime Minister and that they left from St. Kitts directly to Abuja.
Yes, that flight that left from St. Kitts the other day.
Yes, and they, you know what, they went to Africa to sign, Colin, and I think you would laugh because this was your idea. They have signed an agreement with the Nollywood industry in Nigeria. That will see, that is when you have leadership, that will see to a film making arrangement with the largest producers of Nollywood films and also the island of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Oh,
so
this will be
so they are getting the minister of culture and entertainment here is very big on the orange economy. Colin, sometimes I send him clips from you to listen.
Oh,
yeah?
Thank
and
you.
So yeah, man, we are listening to you, you know. So who don't want to listen? Let them don't listen. But I can tell you, within the next 3-4 months, you'll hear about 20 movies being done down here from Nigeria. So we are saying we need to diversify and we have a brand. And this is what we need to look at. You have been saying this, Colin, and I'll not hug up the line as I go. We need to now look quickly at leveraging brand Jamaica. That does not only include bringing 4 million passengers to Jamaica or visitors, but what it involves is us selling a cultural item or ticket items that can bring in an equivalent of maybe if we had 20 or 30 million people visiting. So we have to look at how we pitch our culture, how we start to sell it, and how we use it to diversify. Because we're running down a road. And as I ask about energy as I go, what is going to happen? Now the American government has said the Cubans can now bring in oil from wherever they want to bring it in without any issues. What is going to happen to us? Are we not going to apply to the State Department so we can purchase oil from Venezuela and we can set up a new refinery so we don't have to be dependent when things happen in the Middle East?
Hold on the caller. Raleigh, you have something turn up a little louder than it was?
No, man.
Are we getting everything coming back from your end? Don't know what happened.
All right, I just wanted to ask Raleigh if you agreed with me that we need to quickly diversify Petroleum and go into a new refinery and start to have a new arrangement with the Venezuelan government that would guarantee us more oil to refine closer to our borders. Because this war is going to prevent us from getting oil from the Middle East.
Yeah, man, we'd have to negotiate that with the US and we'd have to give back the man them money that we take from them and don't give them back.
Well, as I go, you know my position on that. The one that was at the ministry, I think he's a prime suspect to be brought to Venezuela, but that's not my decision nor ours to make.
Yeah, man, cool.
Yes, sire. Raleigh.
Yeah.
Where we go from here as we take it down this evening?
Well, we'll have to get proper supplementary estimate. But that is going to take a whole lot of humility from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance. They're not going to do that. So the fact of the matter is that the people of Jamaica will just pay a high price for that level of arrogance and stupidity. Because the budget has just...
The budget good.
We know.
So
we know.
But why people like Cliff Hughes? Cliff Hughes are not idiot, you know. Cliff Hughes need to Lego politics. Election gone from September 3rd, 2025. It's time now to focus on Jamaica. So I am saying this because I call for all blogger, vlogger, broadcaster. If you don't have any bit of patriotism in the eye them, come truthful and tell Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Finance Minister Favour Williams. The Fiscal Commissioner have already said it. Ralston Hyman, the #1 financial analyst in Jamaica, have said it. The budget is not worth the paper that it was written on. Time to recast the budget and come to the nation with something that is credible, Ralston.
And the longer you take, the more difficult it will be. And that 3.2 billion that you have lined up, you might end up not being able to get it because more people are in distress now and the international institutions are under pressure to help more people right now.
Sir Ralston.
They need to act on that quickly.
The Prime Minister, I think, was mocking Julian, said Julian want to push more debt on the country. Explain to the viewers and listeners and subscribers how this using this $3.6 billion would help and not put us in more strain.
All right. So the first question for the Prime Minister is why you lined up the $3.6 billion then if you think that more debt would be a big problem for the country. Why you waste time and waste the people's time at the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and ask them to put aside that money if you knew you were not going to use it? That's one. Foolishness. Secondly, the tax package of $18 billion is only half of 1% of GDP. So that would do no violence to the debt to GDP ratio, which is now 69%. So even if you borrowed $38 billion more, that's only 1% of GDP. That would only add 1 percentage point to the debt to GDP if you remain at the same level. If you grow, you get the ratio down faster. So there's no problem in relation to that. And what they're showing is like Donald Trump, they're confused because you go and you lined up $3.2 billion and then you only draw down $250 billion of that amount. It's $576 billion in Jamaican dollar terms. I only draw down $250 billion of that amount. So what's the point? You think the people are going to sit and wait on you to come for the rest? More people are going to be making applications to the IMF and the World Bank now for money. You know? So,
let me take a call.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Just to make you know, when you attack, a pure echo.
Yeah,
your voice, I repeat.
I recognize that, so I'm trying to sort
it. Yeah, kind of distort,
Yeah, man, sorry about that.
It takes to repeat everything what you say. So it's kind of hard to hear you.
All right, sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, Raleigh.
So it doesn't make sense. You have all of that money hanging after you go and mobilize that money and then you don't use it. So if you use even borrowed an additional $38 billion, you would be able to cushion the blow on the people in terms of your tax package, as well as in terms of the high cost of energy on the economy, and have a greater level of stagnation rather than the recession that you are going to end up in. Because the world is on the throes of another great stagflation. Jerome Powell was addressing students at Harvard today, that's the Fed chairman, and that's what he said he's concerned about. Andrew Bailey, the governor of the Bank of England, is also concerned about that because he says inflation is likely to reach 6% in the UK. That's 3 times higher than the accepted norm.
Wow.
Yep. So the whole world is under pressure in terms of inflation.
Trouble, and living ain't easy. I said the world is in trouble. Hold on, the Raleigh. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, man, Evelyn.
Yeah.
You watch the Senate while Evelyn wait. You watch the Senate the other Evelyn.
Some of it, not all of it, but I watch some of it.
You watch this young lady in the pink, I don't get her name. When I talk about the 60s and so.
No, was that Keisha Anderson?
I don't know her name, but she did have I think there was a pink dress with a white glasses.
Or Maziki Fame.
When she go back in the 60s and so, based on Andrew Warner's utterance, them, how the growth was how much growth was in the 60s.
Me never.
She made them know, say, you have to watch him, man, there's something to watch.
Well, me can go back and listen to her. I watched some of it, I didn't watch all of it.
And she go back and show you, say, Norman Manley, I was come over from Norman Manley, the growth.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, when you look on actor, and the big ugly one there and all, the one you see there, E-Pack, when you watch him and them body language.
Yeah.
The one from E-Pack, he was so uncomfortable. That's him sit down, he rest back way, then he sit down up, then he go to the counter, hang over head.
I must go watch it. I'll go and take a look at it.
Yeah, man. And the next thing I want to ask, you ever figure why Andrew hate always talk about Bruce PJ and Michael Manley. So you ever think why?
Want to be like them. The man is bad mind.
No. All right, look. If you should have an international poll with 4 of the last prime minister, them like Michael, PJ, Portia, and Siago, and have an international poll, what you think Andrew then would have where Andrew that ranking in them 5?
Maybe Andrew that
prime
come
minister
last. Maybe that come last.
Dead last.
Yeah, man.
And at that time problem. He want the number 1 spot and he can't work towards it. So he just sit down and a make up story every day because he's not as popular as him think. He ain't popular with the little food people that we have here. But not even at the Caribbean, he could have in name would have ranked before 3 PMP Prime Minister. He couldn't rank before Manley, PJ, and Portia. And at that time concerned.
Yeah.
Ralston, you still have Ralston with you?
No, it look like him drop off. We hope he'll return.
Because he tell me say he never find out from Colonel Charles Jr. about the money when he should have when he never give the people them. You know, me ask one question and he say him and him talk about so he would have find out.
Which
when
money?
He
Which
give some
money
of them when in a burial man when he figure them the people don't know send me 400,000 and you go give them 2 and say when they get enough money then the nails and ears and all kind of sitting and him never give them the whole 4 so I want to give them the next 2.
So what happened to you next 2?
When me with them. Him not hold it back. It was a program, an outside broadcast with Simon Caskell and Jesse Blake, you know.
Hold on, Sir Ralph stand forward.
Yeah, man, he means him, we ain't talk about him, he means him now talk to him, ask him, man.
Raleigh. This Virgin say him did ask you if you ask Colonel Charles Jr. about the $200,000 we never give the people him sent me, and if you give them 400,000, I only give them 200,000.
Yeah, man, I'll ask him. He's in Brazil. He's supposed to be coming back tomorrow.
You hear that, Carla?
Yeah, man, me hear him.
Ralston says he's in Brazil, so when he comes back tomorrow, you will ask him.
Yeah, man, because we want to know him now. He might hold on and people their money like a fee.
All right, my brother.
All right, then. Yeah, man.
Cool.
Bless you.
Ralston, give us a final look at Jamaica's economy. What do you expect to happen this week in the financial market, in the whole financial sector, locally? Give us also an international view and talk to us what the next 6 months in Jamaica is going to look like if the war should stop tomorrow, which we know it not stop tomorrow, but we know that the effects of what has gone on already will last for some time. So give us that rundown.
All right. So Jamaica is a small economy operating in the context of the larger international economy. So let's start internationally. Internationally, what we are seeing is that crude prices are up, metal prices are up, aluminum prices are up, airline tickets are up because of the high cost of jet fuel. Central bankers are worried about accelerating inflation. They are planning to increase interest rates. Higher interest rates mean slower economic growth, more job losses. 92,000 persons lost their jobs in the U.S. economy in February. Now, the U.S. is Jamaica's major trading partner. So 67% of our remittances, 70% of our tourists, 50% of our exports. We expect that slowdown to impact negatively on the Jamaican economy, which already declined by 7.5% during the last quarter of last year. So we expect to see another quarter of decline, which would put us into a recession. And as a result of that, as I'm saying, we want to see a budget that will be going in the other direction rather than carrying us in the recession. So if we go ahead with the tax package and continue with the price increases that will flow from the tax package, the higher oil prices, they will lead to higher food prices and higher levels of inflation. Agriculture, again, which is the major sector, will be impacted by the higher fertilizer prices, the higher gasoline prices, so food prices go up. Inflation is expected to accelerate, and the central bank is either going to keep interest rates where they are or they are going to hike them, and that will accelerate the slowdown or the recession that we're experiencing. 6 months from now, if we don't change what we're doing, the thing will get even deeper. We'll be having a protracted recession, which could lead to a depression. Yeah, and on the social side, you are going to find more angry people, more problems in households. The police will have to work harder. A whole lot of social problems are going to flow from the economic situation. So we need to hear something now as to how we are going to mitigate the impact. One, you can reduce the tax on fuel and say, boy, we'll do it for 6 months like them are doing in other countries. Or you can say, well, remove the tax package and we'll borrow more of the money. That will line up. Those things are not going to happen because of the arrogance and all of those things. So the Jamaican people are going to feel a whole lot of pressure.
Why are we afraid to use the money from the multilateral to invest in agriculture, to invest in renewable energy, to invest in the culture and the creative industry, that Jamaica can start earning our way out of this? Why are we afraid to do those things?
Well, I don't know. Only the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister could answer those questions, because they went ahead and lined up all of this money. Because even the 250 billion that they are borrowing, only about 60 odd billion will come from the external sources, you know.
Yeah.
Most of it will come from Jamaican sources. So why you lined up all of that money?
And no intend to use it.
And don't intend to use it. It just make us look stupid.
But if we don't use it now, Raleigh, and the fiscal rules come back in place within the next 2 years, what happened then?
We'll be missing a big opportunity, and the problems are going to be political problems, economic problems are going to be very severe.
We saw...
We might have an election before that, if that happens, because the pressure that the people...
Go ahead, finish your thought.
The pressure that the people are going to be under will be significant.
So you're saying that if we continue with this budget that was tabled and presented to the Jamaican people, it might push us in an early election?
Yeah, man, because things are going to be so hard. It's not Joe Pando. It's not Joe Pando joking, you know, and that does one supplier. So don't take him lightly. He's serious. When Pando him talking what is happening. He's not a joke. He's a man with credibility, and we have been telling you that from a long time.
One of the biggest food supplier on the island.
Yeah, man, and right across the Caribbean. Separatist Caribbean wise, not just Jamaica.
And the man says food price are going to skyrocket.
But that natural, the supply chain, them lockdown, the fertilizer price gone up, the oil price gone.
Joining us. Some people may be just joining us and never hear Richard Pandui, the head of SEPRAD. If you don't never hear him, listen to
And
this.
world oil and gas prices surging. Chief Executive Officer of the SEPROD Group, Richard Pandui, is warning that the Jamaican economy is in for a rough period in the coming months. Mr. Pandui, who heads one of Jamaica's largest food distribution companies, told Radio Jamaica News that food prices will skyrocket in coming weeks. He says the Middle East conflict is already affecting Jamaica, primarily through higher oil prices.
Which has begun increasing transportation costs, electricity and production costs. In terms of food security, this translates into higher prices for both imported and locally produced food. Imported goods are becoming more expensive due to shipping costs, higher input costs for packaging, and those type of things. For local food production, local farmers are going to face higher input costs for fertilizers, feed and animal feed and transportation. I don't expect any issue with the availability of food. The challenge will be the affordability. The overall economic effect, if the conflict continues, will be increased economic headwind with high inflation, pressure on household spending, and pressure on businesses to maintain margin. This conflict is extremely unfortunate, but it couldn't have come at a worse time for Jamaica. We now have had two...
Some people, somebody in the chat room asking about Caribbean radio. We are only on Caribbean radio on a Tuesday. So we're not on Caribbean radio today.
All right.
Raleigh?
Yeah. You know what I mean when I say pressure on margins? When a firm have pressure on margins, you have to cut costs.
Yes.
You can't go about the energy costs, so you have to lay off people. Yeah? So those are serious things that he's saying. Those words have meaning. They are not just words. Yeah? So the margin cover the expense of the firm. If we can't cover the margin and the margin are shrink, people have to go home. All those people have mortgages to pay, car loans to pay, children to send to school. Come on, man, we have to get serious about this thing. Every country in the world, watch a TV tonight, watch Al Jazeera, watch CNN. I saw the whole world about this thing, from Asia to Europe. Yep, This is a
And
serious
Jamaica
matter.
doing nothing.
Nothing. This is a global matter, a global crisis. Yep.
And you have idiots,
Yep.
clowns
Yep.
on social media talking about comprehensive budget presentation.
Don't do this, man.
Comprehensive, my foot.
All of the budget should have been surrounded. That should have been the core of the budget. So the core of the budget should have been structured around what is happening internationally, because Jamaica is a small import-dependent country. We import everything.
Redo the budget, Mr. Prime
Yeah, man.
Minister.
Yeah, man. And stop
Call
talk
back your
foolish.
team together.
Yeah, man.
Budget not credible.
Yeah, man.
Never.
Hello, good night.
Yes.
Yes, Reverend.
Good night, my guru, Ralston Iman.
Yeah, man. Blessings.
Good night to everybody. Colin.
Yeah.
Ralston Iman is spot on.
Yes, man. Teacher.
Yeah, because if you, yeah, the teacher, man. Look, you have a thing named fear, you know. And the two greatest fear right now for the Jamaican people is number one, the fear of debt and the fear of running out of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, domestic credit, like all people ask people, say, boy, never you can do something for me till next month, me pay you.
Yeah.
Credit is going to dry up, you know.
Them till it dry up, man. Yeah, man.
Because when you grant somebody a favor, it's money you're creating, you know. And everybody going to need more money, especially the government. So what the government think him going to do? Use him GCT vacuum now, and when the things them go up, him collect more GCT in cash flow. Yes. And when him put him tax on the product again, him collect more GC as tax flow, and then him tell you say GCT not gone up, no new tax. And
yeah, but
cash
that's
flow on company is not profit.
Yep.
Cash flow. And you have a lot of people now going to be hoarding the money, hoarding it, and pressure the persons who them can drain. So it's going to be a whole heap of transfer of stress.
Yes.
And let me tell you this from an accounting point of view, what me see my company doing. Them asking us to do costing now, like all the sugar product them that they manufacture. They're going to cut the sugar content and create what they call mass production in order to save cash.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into the supermarket and you're buying some of these products, they're going to be so watered down.
Yeah, man.
And you're not going to get value for your money because they want to
Shrinkflation.
save while making more profit to protect the margin.
Well, on
yeah, man. They call it shrinkflation. Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
Shrink.
Shrinkflation, Professor.
You pay more for less.
My guru.
Yeah, man. Pay more for less.
We call it skimflation as well.
Yeah, man.
So
notice if you buy a
skimming going on.
Colin, notice if you buy a
middle class.
Never, hold on there. You're rally.
Notice when you buy a patty now, you get more flakes than beef.
Yes. No beef then a patty again because you used to have to buy the patty
yeah.
and
Precisely.
cool the beef. Now the beef now flow over like how it used to flow over.
All right, you get it. Yep. That's a typical example. Yeah, man.
Yes, so you're going to have stagflation, inflation, and shrinkflation.
Correct. Terrible combinations.
And let me leave you with this.
Yeah.
Everybody must have a family meeting right now.
Ah.
And within that family meeting that you have, make sure you find out who can bury themselves so that you can have a good family budget to save some embarrassment. Because you see like how them run with the doctor, the Cuban doctors, them.
More people are dead.
My mother would have a eye surgery to do, and she have to postpone the surgery now because the Cuban doctor who used to guide her is no longer here. A whole heap of people are going to fret and dead.
Yeah, man, it's true. Those are some of the social problems.
Ralston,
yeah, man.
I tell you, sir, me your food basket never empty, sir.
All right, sir.
Take care.
Blessings,
yeah, man.
Why?
Yeah, man. So when Pando tell about household spending or come under pressure, that it mean people are getting laid off and people are have no money to buy nothing. Simple. It start with the firms. Margins start shrink. The firms that say, well, I have to cut back. Them can't do nothing about the energy prices now. It's a long-term thing. So them can't do something about labor. Because labor and energy are the two biggest costs for businesses most of the time.
Okay. Let
A
me take the
serious
final
matter.
call for the evening.
Yeah,
Caller,
man.
go ahead. Good evening. You're the final caller. Hello?
If he talk about, yes, Donald Scott Mosley was speaking about Claude McKay's. If we should lie, if we should die like dogs. I'm sorry, but that search, my voice is gone.
All right. Send me a text. I'll read it for you.
I did.
All right. Let me check it. See our voice gone.
Mm-hmm.
So let me try get a final call in. Excellence. You are the final caller for the evening.
Thank you, Shaka. I was just great, my brother. I was just listening to the program earlier,
Yes.
and I couldn't help. I was going to listen to the program, but I couldn't help after that call from my accountant brother
Yes.
and what he said about us. Shaka, I just want to take this time to say to the people of Jamaica, we are facing the crisis, and we too can also make some important steps in terms of our health. Now is the time, Shaka, that you have to try to get a proper diet as
Yeah,
best as
man.
possible.
Fundamental
Try to
too.
eat
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
as healthy as you can eat,
Exercise too. Yep. Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Exercise
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Those who have chronic ailment like diabetes and hypertension and heart disease, take your medications now. Take it more serious.
Yes.
As best as possible in any way we can to protect our own health, because the crisis is on us
Yeah, man.
and we can't turn it back.
No.
But what we can do is help ourselves during this crisis. So as best as possible, try to be compliant with the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Try to exercise. You're diabetic,
Mm-hmm.
try to have a proper meal. Try to do what you are taught by your physicians at this moment, so your little money can stretch far,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also you can preserve your health in a broken healthcare system. Because with all that is happening, the shortfall of the Cubans, the economic woes which are taking place,
Mm-hmm.
now is not the time to go to get sick.
No, true. You can't
No,
afford
if
to
you
be
get
sick
sick,
now.
it's
Yeah,
almost like
man.
you're running into a brick wall.
Yeah, man. That's correct.
You know,
Spot
and
on,
that is just
time.
my little contribution, Shaka.
Yeah, man.
Respect.
Spot
Great
on. It
teacher.
little but it big. Yeah, man.
Respect,
All
brother.
right, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Take
man. Cool.
Ralston, your final, where you want to wrap up with?
All right. So if you notice today, Donald said that people can send oil to Cuba. You know why he said that today?
Couldn't stop Russia.
Real bad man. All right, you get the whole thing. So you see how the world run.
He
All right.
couldn't stop Russia, so him just
Uh-huh.
say anybody can go like and a go Russia go around him.
Precisely. You might try to save face. Because Putin has say, all right, clash with me now. No? Yeah? Yeah, if you're bad, take me on. Yep. Yep. So him just try to save face. So that's the kind of man that we're dealing with. So we have to make sure that we are protecting ourselves, because we have somebody who is just bumptious and fickle in the White House. Simple.
My brother.
So just like we'll never say need family meetings, we need family meetings, community meetings, and we need a national meeting in the parliament with the prime minister and the opposition and all of the associations, them JMA, PSOJ, and say, boy, this is a strategy that Jamaica is going to pursue in order to mitigate the impact of the great recession or great stagflation that is coming. We can't go back to what we did in 2008 because that cost us too much. Simple.
The first thing we need to see, though, is humility from the government.
Of course,
by
the Prime
saying that
Minister.
we presented a budget that
Yep.
was out of touch with the
Mhm.
present day reality.
That's correct.
Therefore, we are going to recast this budget and
Mhm.
come back to the people.
Yeah, man.
If them
Bigger
not do that, them
government.
not do nothing, Rally.
No, precisely. So that is why I say we need to climb down from this level of arrogance, because other countries that are bigger than Jamaica and stronger than Jamaica, that's what they are doing. Australia, Philippines, Germany, everybody. Yeah, even Donald, when Donald say he want an agreement, he's climbing down from the economic hardships that the war is creating, and the American people are pressuring him.
Because the Americans, they are winning the physical war, but it look
Yeah,
like Iran is winning the economic
the
war.
economic war. And remember, them still not lock off El Manadab yet. When the Houthis lock off El Manadab, the place will get worse.
Because what Iran is using is oil to mash up the world, because Donald
Precisely.
Trump and Israel have mashed up
Yep.
them countries. So them say, all right, we now have the military might like
To
we
fight
have,
you directly. Yep.
but we're going strategically
Correct.
put the world economy in a place that it going mash up everybody.
Everybody. That's correct. Because there's an energy intensive international economy, so you can't do without oil and natural gas. Simple. Plane can't fly without jet fuel. Yeah. Farmers can't work without fertilizer. Yeah. To get the kind of yields that they want. So that's what is happening. So Iran winning the economic war. Yeah.
Little more teacher. Give
Yeah,
thanks.
blessings. Yeah, man.
We'll
Blessed.
talk.
Cool. Yeah, man.
The teacher Ralston Iman.
You know, I promise I'm not being at the heads of government. I actually, let me be clear. I thought he navigated it well. I thought, CVM, let me tell you this. If you will just give me Claude McKay's poem, Senator Thompson. I don't know if you like poetry. I do. It says, if we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock of our cursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood will not be spent in vain. So even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. There is a place for principle, and people actually respect you when you demonstrate principle and integrity. When you are compliant and submissive and subservient, trust me, they will only take more advantage of you, because that is the psychology of human behavior.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, meaning of a mix up with nastiness, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Yeah. Separate yourself from corruption. If you are a patriotic Jamaican, call for the best interest of Jamaica land we love. The budget is not credible. The budget is out of touch. Bob Marley say they're moving on them ego trip, blast off on their spaceship. They're living miles and miles and miles from reality. No care for you, no care for me. My viewers, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, and share. Right here on Portland Spice TV is where we have financial classes with the teacher Ralston Iman. I never hear him myself, but somebody said, the Prime Minister said, we need financial literacy. This is where it's at. Do you know Jamaica's numbers? The man who called me yesterday never know we trade deficit. Him never know we importation bill. Him never know how much we are exporting. Him never know. But he was ready to school me. You know, I hear somebody say the other day that we are at a place where some people expect people with knowledge to sit down and because they want idiot to feel comfortable. It not happen around here, so. The truth must float like oil. Come to the top. So we invite you to become a Portland Spice ambassador. Invite everybody that you know. Invite all who are talking crap to come over here and listen to the teacher Ralston Iman, yours truly Colin Bell, and the guests that we invite from time to time. Because we don't claim to be the reservoir of all knowledge. And therefore, when we need assistance, we invite the people who have the knowledge to come talk to us. So may the good Lord continue to bless and keep you all. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again tomorrow evening, trying to get Bert Samuels to come talk to us about that vote in the United Nations. I want to see now Prime Minister say, yeah, Israel and a friend. Because Israel vote against our 400 years of sufferation when we were being enslaved. Israel vote against it. And not just Israel, 2 others. You can really understand some of them who abstain because they were the enslavers. But you know, show me a company. I tell you who you are. Until we meet again tomorrow evening. Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters. Stay safe and remember, share up this channel here. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We're not there yet. Help us to get there quick and fast so we can set another target. One love, my people. Peace be with you. From Portland Spice TV, from the producer Natalie Wright, this is Colin Bell, your host. Blessings.
Tell them to try pre-we, big up Portland Spice TV. Tell them to try pre-we, big up Portland Spice TV. Remember to subscribe. See, Portland Spice TV, Louis Culture said it once and we say it again. Portland Spice TV. We are